Hello, drama. So, I hope you're all well. Going to go over some of the key sections from pages like 22 to 32 around there. So you should have lots of work already done. Thank you for showing me your work. Let's see, you've done really well. At least be good if I could see some more. And the rest of you, Caitlin, I've had some bits, haven't I? But not much. And George and Poppy, I haven't heard from you since like weeks ago. So I hope you're all well. If you can show me just photos of what you're doing, notes or ideas, or ask some questions, that would be appreciated. So we're looking at Phil, the early stages of the play. So we'll start with that idea. So Phil and Leah. So key thing about Phil and Leah is the field and the wood. Yeah, so think about the difference. How do they switch roles in the field and the wood? So that's something to think about. So page 24 to 26, Phil starts to drink his Coke. So food is a really important thing about Phil. All the different snacks that he has, boys and teenage boys and food are a cliche, aren't they? But they're also true. Sugary treats, snacks, food in Phil's scenes can be symbolic, or it can be a way for him when Leah's talking to focus on the food to blank her out. So I don't know, is it comfort eating? Is it a control device? Is he just really into food? Is it all those things? So it's interesting, different plays, different ways you can get the actor. If you are acting or directing as Phil, what would you have him do? So you should have notes on this already about Phil's plan. So how he gets everyone else apart from himself and Leah to enact the plan to save their skins and get them off Adam's murder. So Phil's been a very quiet character up until now. Doesn't mean he's been quite physically, he's got a very physical, strong presence, but he hasn't really spoken, and then suddenly he is in control. So page 24 to 26. Did we expect Phil to act like this? What does it tell us about his character? How did others react? Is this what we expect from them? Like, did we think Phil would just become the natural leader? Did we know anything about Phil? So it's like quite a sudden, interesting plot development, isn't it? That this very quiet, unassuming boy becomes like the mastermind, the genius behind this plan to get them off the murder. Now, why doesn't he involve himself? Is it because him and Leah didn't actually do that much to Adam? They weren't involved in that, so he's stepping back, or is it just they're like the rulers, the leaders now that he's taken charge? So just interesting. Let's look at the bottom of page 23. The last thing John Tate says. Dead, he's dead. Kathy says, you're clever. So what do we do? And everyone stares at Leah and Phil. And a really key moment, top of page 24, Leah goes to say something, but nothing comes out. So that could be a really key moment. Why doesn't she speak? We know she can speak. Why does she step back? And then the boy that's been silent, Phil puts his coat carefully on the ground. This huge pause, this moment, what's going to happen? It was really an exciting moment in the play. Small, but powerful. And then, suddenly, Phil, Kathy, Danny, Mark, you go to Adam's house. You wait until his mum's out. You break in. What? Through an upstairs window. So all the silences that Phil's been having, has he been thinking about this plan, what to do? And has he known that the others are going to crack and he's going to take control? So from what we know of the other characters, do we think they're all going to fall in line, like Richard, etc.? It's interesting, isn't it, how we interpret those characters. So Phil, very interesting development. He becomes the leader. Were we expecting this? He puts his coat down, and that's when he starts speaking. There's obviously comedy there as well, isn't there, about this boy with his food. But it's an opportunity for the actor to have some interplay. So when Leah is talking, there's a certain moments that things she said that he would, I don't know, take a bite or put something down. So Phil's eloquent, focused and detailed plan. So that's page 25, 26. So everyone should have those notes. So has it changed your opinion of Phil? And you should have done it a plot step by step. The instructions of what Phil's plan is, who does what, and then what are the implications of his plan to have someone's DNA on Adam's jumper and the man's description. So is this a victimless crime? So they're dropping, so it's probably a local, isn't it? So they're dropping the jumper for some man to pick up. And then his DNA would be on the jumper. So I have heard about like swabs, local people being asked to give DNA, like when atrocities happened. So what if he was asked by the police and he innocently would go, yeah, okay, give his DNA over, and then he would be traced to Adam's body. So Phil, is he just thinking it's a piece of evidence and it will save them? He's not actually thinking about the impact it might have on someone who is actually innocent. So, those of you that know the rest of the story, it does get more complicated than that, but I suppose it is almost a victim's crime at this point. Just a random person. It's just evidence that there was another man there, I suppose Phil is thinking. So, yeah, so like I said, page 23, really important. That last moment. Phil or John Tate, power. John Tate, so loud and angry and aggressive and threatening, and then he breaks. The last thing he says, what do we do? And he looks at Leah and Phil. And Leah is useless, can't say anything, and Phil takes control. So, if Leah was your friend, what advice would you give her about Phil and their relationship? Why does Leah put up with Phil? Why do you think she does that? What is it about her personality, about her looks, about his personality, about his looks? Teenagers, friends, are they boyfriend, girlfriend? Remember I talked ages ago now, isn't it, about different genders? So if it was Lee and Phil, if it was two boys, how would it be different? If it was two girls, Philippa, would it be any different? So they never show any affection to each other. Do you know the relationships like that, boys and girls, that they're sort of going out but they're not going out? So have you spotted the contrast? So in the wood, Phil speaks and is powerful. In the field, he's not at all. And Leah's chatterbox and has all the power, all the control, or does she? I suppose it's a contrast. Her movement, her frenetic energy compared to Phil's stillness. Is he the one actually with power there? But in the wood, Leah doesn't really have much say, doesn't have much control, and as the play goes on, you see more of that. So she may speak a bit, but people don't really listen to her, take account of what her opinions are. She can't really influence any people, unlike Phil. So does that tell us why they're together? So, relationship advice. What would you tell Leah? So, Phil and Leah's relationship. So, what are the ingredients of a healthy relationship? Communication, affection, laughter, compassion, respect, trust, honesty. Got to be a friendship there, hasn't there? Are they in a healthy relationship? So, page 26 to 28. Leah's bonobo monologue. So, how does Phil change when he's with Leah? So, he's been so powerful and controlling, and then Phil looks on. No answer. Phil opens crisps and begins to eat them. So, he's gone into himself and really introverted now, isn't he? But is that just a coping mechanism? Is that what he needs to do to stay in control? Is this. He wants company, he wants to use Leah to know he's always got someone, but he's not interested in anything she has to say. This is downtime. It's interesting, isn't it? Relationships. What are their motivations for being together? So the DNA, bonobo and chimp idea. So Leah's monologue here, page 26, 27, 28. Really interesting. So bonobos really friendly, really loving, sex mad chimpanzees, and normal chimpanzees are violent. And I like the gist of the monologue that they thought that chimps were our closest relatives, actually it's bonobos. But what are we? We're like both of them, aren't we? So human beings, sex mad, but also incredibly violent and horrible to each other. We're actually more like chimps than bonobos. The way that this group acts, they're violent. You know, think about what Mark and Jan said about what they did to Adam. Well, as a group, that's not the bonobo welcome, is it? That's the chimp. Rip your arm off and beat you with it. So human beings, the nature, murder. Think about DNA as well, so about the link. So the jump plan is a clever link of DNA, doesn't it? It's the DNA evidence of this man that will exonerate or put, there'll be no suspicion on the group if the DNA of this man is there. And then here, DNA, what makes us closer to animals? It's our DNA, isn't it? How far we are removed. So I think it's like 98% of our DNA is the same as a chimp. So we're very close to those creatures, but the violence that they have is clearly evident in human beings as well. So a nice link between of DNA. What makes human beings human? What makes an animal an animal? Clever bit of writing in the title. So characters starting to change. So we've got Jan and Mark. So page 29 is part of section 2. So who's not going? So Phil's plan, crying Brian to go to the headmaster, etc. Work it out. So Jan and Mark, are their relationship, is it the same? How are they changing? A bit more fear, a bit more tension. Still, we need comedy. There's still a bit of a light relief if we're directing this scene. So, can you look at this picture? Can you tell who's who? How do you know? Which part of the play do you think this is? So, interesting. Different interpretations. So, the interplay between this character and this character. She's smiling. Who's here looking unhappy? So for me, the scene is the John Tate scene. So that's John Tate and that's Leah, and he's about to go and tell her to stop talking. Where he puts his finger to her lips, that bit, Phil aside looking on. That looks like Lou to me. That looks like Kathy. So we've got, or could be Mark and Jan, couldn't it? Richard. He looks like Brian, doesn't he, with his face. And Phil. So Jan, Mark, Leah, and Phil in these pages. So Jan and Mark introducing section 2, a bit of tension. What's going to happen if one of them doesn't go over with the plan? Shit, exactly. What we're going to do? So building up these questions, and if Brian's unreliable in this part of the plan, who else is going to be unreliable, etc. So building up some nice tension in an interesting way. And then we've got another monologue. So it's quite a dark monologue, this one. So if you have a read of it, so page 30, 31, 32. So Phil and Leah, Phil slowly eating a pack of Starburst. Leah has a Tupperware container on her lap. So if you've already read it, it's a bit grim, a bit sad. Are you happy? No, don't answer that. Jesus, sorry. What's wrong with me? Sorry. Are you? No, I'm just wondering. I mean, what is happy? What's happy all about? Who says you're supposed to be happy? Like, we're all supposed to be happy. Happy is our natural, and any deviation from that state is seen as a failure, which in itself makes you more unhappy. So you have to pretend to be even happier, which doesn't work because people can see that you're pretending, which makes them awkward. And you can see that they can see that you're pretending to be happy, and their awkwardness is making you even more unhappy. So you have to pretend to be even happier. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare to read that bit. Breath. So it's funny yet interesting, isn't it? So it's like nuclear waste or global warming. Beat. So have you started thinking about the beats when they come, why they come, how you could show a beat, what impact that could have? What would your beat sound like? Isn't it, Phil? Phil, isn't it like nuclear? Phil doesn't answer. Yeah, you know it is. You know more than I do. I can't tell you any, people getting all upset about polluting the natural order when this planet is churning molten lava with a thin layer of crust on top of with a few kilometers of atmosphere clinging to it. I mean, please don't give me all that carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide, Phil. And look at the rest of the universe. Venus, Phil. Look at Venus. What about Venus? What, enough to melt lead? Or Titan with oceans of liquid nitrogen? I mean, stars, Phil. A billion nuclear reactions a second. I mean, to be honest, it's all either red hot or ice cold. So, no. It's life that upsets the natural order. It's us that's the anomaly. That's the beauty, isn't it, Phil? I couldn't say this to anyone else. They'd say, that's a pretty bloody grim view of the world, Leah. But you can see the beauty, which is why I can talk to you. Because you can see the incredibly precious beauty and fragile of reality. It's the same for happiness. And you can apply the same theory of happiness. So don't start, Phil. Don't come here giving it all the, all the beat. Can you remember the happiest moment in your life? Beat. Phil eats another toffee. I know mine. I know my happiest moment. Week last Tuesday. That sunset. You remember that sunset? Do you? You don't, do you? Oh my God, you don't. He says nothing. He opens the Tupperware container, shows it to Phil. It's Jerry. I killed him. I took him out of his cage. I put the point of a screwdriver on his head and I hit it with a hammer. Why do you think I did that? Phil shrugs. He does react. No, no, me neither. She closes the lid. Everything's much better though. I mean, really it is. Everyone's working together. They're a lot happier. Remember last month, Dan threatened to kill Kathy? Well, yesterday I saw him showing her his phone, like they were old friends. Last week, Richard invited Mark to his party. Bring a friend, anyone you like. Can you believe that? Richard and Mark? Yep, everyone's happier. It's pouring into the school. Grief. Grief is making them happy. They say John Tate's lost it though. Won't come out of his room. Bit odd. Maybe that's what's making people happier. Maybe it's just having something to work towards together. Do you know? Do you think that's what it is? Are we really that simple? Where will it stop? Only been 4 days, but everything's changed. Adam's parents were on telly again last night. Phil looks up. Yeah, another appeal to the fat postman with bad teeth. What have we done, Phil? So that's her monologue. Quite some nice philosophical stuff in there about our place on the planet and the universe, and like within the universe that we know, life is exceptionally rare, isn't it? If we know how many stars and billions of planets, etc. Like in our solar system, we're, as far as we know, we're the only living organisms, aren't we? So that is an interesting perspective, and it's something that philosophers, people talk about, isn't it? our place, our existence, our life, and then she talks about beauty. So we've got these ideas. So why does Leah have grounds to make this statement? I sometimes think you're not human. And then, but then she says about thinking he can understand beauty and understands things. Why is she doing that? He gets things. She respects him. And then this happiest moment, a sunset. Does he remember? Do you think? Has he been thinking about that? No, his perspective is quite different, isn't it? So she's being a philosopher, and then suddenly Springs opens Tupperware and she's killed her hamster. Why has she done that? So, does the revelation that Leah admits killing one of her pets completely change our opinion of her? Why might she have done this? And what does it suggest about rationalising what is essentially a rational pointless violence? So, there's a little picture. So we think of her as quite a sweet, naive, attention-seeking, desperate child, girl, not really part of the murder, and then she's screwdrivered to death her hamster straight through the brain. So it's a bit of an odd thing to do. So she's exploring what it is, life and death. Adams made her explore this idea, the fragility of life. She wants to feel it. She's to control something. She doesn't have it. It's quite an interesting psychological exploration, this idea. And then after that, she talks about how everyone's sort of happier. And so it's a bit of narration here, isn't it? As well as marking down, we feel we know what's going on now as an audience. So how everyone's getting along, people are much friendlier with each other. And then that nice bit about the appeal and a bit of tension and emotion and sadness, that we can feel her guilt. So what's the subtext when she talks about Adam's parents were on telly again last night, and Phil actually looks up what are they thinking in that moment. It's powerful. How would you show that? So what has happened to all of these characters? So it's something you need to be aware of by this section. So Danny, Kathy, Richard, Mark, John, Kate, make sure you're keeping up with the plot. It's really important. Like in the exam, we don't know which scene we're going to get to. You need to know what's going on. But the structure of it is quite nice, so it's not too hard. But at this point in the play, so the hamster kill monologue, the starburst, Tupperware, philosophy monologue, what has happened? All right. So keep up to date. Show me your work, and have a nice long weekend.